So, hello everyone, I'm Alexis Smith and I'm the CEO of IMGeospatial. We were lucky enough to come here last year and speak a bit about AIMEE and about what we're doing with automatic feature extraction. And I am here to update you and also tell you a little bit more about how we're working within the insurance industry. So let me talk about insurance first, if it works. Yeah. So at the moment, there's a massive issue in the UK insurance sector, but also globally, about underinsurance. There's a lot of stuff which is to do with residential, which is about contents insurance. There's a lot of stuff about commercial, which is to do with rebuild cost evaluation. And there are also some other clever add-ons and other clever benefits we would get as a sector by utilizing this type of data. Before I go into this, though, I'm going to give you a little bit of an understanding, a bit of an inspirational thing about what we're actually doing. So for those of you that don't know about AIMEE and what we've actually achieved so far, this might seem a bit sort of a bit of a weird photo. I actually took the photo. This is in Namibia. IMGeospatial started 3 years ago now, and it started with a conversation with Anglian Water. And what the guy at Anglian Water said to me quite point blankly was I was trying to sell him something around a flooding solution. And he said, Alexis, I'm not interested in your solution, but what I really want to know is how do I understand the pluvial hazard of my infrastructure? Now, not even knowing what those words were at that time, I went away and looked them up and went into, and spoke to lots of very, very clever people, a lot cleverer than me. And it basically, the problem was, how do you survey large areas of the world cost effectively, and also how do you understand the change in that? At that time, I said, it's fine. What we'll do is we will just use satellite data to do that. Google and all these other people must be able to extract features. It can't be that hard. And I moved very quickly on to the business and how we were going to sell this and what we were going to do. Turns out it is a bit harder than I expected at the start. Cut to a year later, so this is now 2 years ago, we've done trials with WaterStart in Las Vegas. So they helped us do a lot of proof of concept work about extracting features. And we used a standard machine learning algorithms to be able to do this. Those machine learning algorithms, obviously, as everyone knows, take huge amounts of data and teaching and time and effort to enable you to do stuff. And I wanted to create a business that is totally automatic, in inverted commas. The only way to do that was not to do it in the standard way that everybody else is trying to achieve and tackle this problem, which was to look at it in a slightly different way. And one of the benefits of coming from outside of the industry is that I didn't know how to do it at the start. So we're telling people to do it in a slightly different way. It's not a different way, it's just our way. And what it enables us to do is to extract lots of features and lots of attributions that we can use within all of the standard GIS stuff that people are doing. Recently, I was lucky enough to go to Namibia, hence the photo. But whilst I was there, we had the opportunity to take on a lot of staff that came from another company that's just fallen by the wayside called Sterling Geo. And that's enabled us to build up our data management and data delivery systems around what we're doing with AIMEE and the stuff that we've already developed. So let me show you AIMEE. This is WorldView 2 satellite data. This area is in West London. This is part of the stuff that we've done for Allianz. The reason why there is a grid on this is that we currently process in 500-meter sections. So that's why there's a grid. But if I flick between them, you can see that not only can we extract structures and trees and fields and all sorts of other interesting elements, we also have attribution attached to these to do with the size of them, the type of the roof, whether or not it's a probable if it's a flat roof or a pitched roof, the numbers of stories, all the other information that's needed behind this. And this is a screen grab from QGIS. So that was AIMEE version 2. We are currently building AIMEE version 3. She is growing up very quickly, and it enables us, and what we're going to be able to achieve is we're going to be able to digest, distill, and disseminate all data. So that's not just data from satellites in space, that's all different types of data. The other key things that we're going to enable us to do is we're going to increase the processing areas from 500 meters up to 5 kilometers squared. We also need to improve the tessellation to help the edge cases, which we've sorted out algorithms to do to enable any edge cases to be improved. Everyone in the UK needs everything attached to UPRNs, so we have to do all that and attach it for geolocation and to enable it for our customers to be used properly. We've also got multiple data source inputs. So the multiple data source inputs is everything from whether there would be basements, whether there would be other data that we can get from anywhere, bringing that into what we're doing and creating a better product. And then the really key thing for here, I guess, is that AIMEE version 3 will be on GBDX at the end of May. David Benson will probably, end of May, I hope, 2018, for everyone to use and to try. So if anybody wants to use and try it on GBDX, then speak to David or myself, and there's some details at the end, and we can actually show you what we can output. So I mentioned that we picked up this team of amazing people from Sterling Geo. One of the things we also picked up was we picked up a reseller agreement for safe software. So we're now a gold partner reseller, and Gavin has been here with Kumar, have been here for the last 2 days, and hopefully they've spoken to a lot of you. And they're an amazing team. Gavin is one of the lead people in the world for safe software and FME, and it's an amazing product. For those of you who don't know, and I'm not an expert in this, if you want to know detail, please speak to them. But it's like a sticky plaster you can put over any data problem and it fixes it. It's that simple. It seems to translate and work with so many different iterations of data, that's geospatial data or non-geospatial data, and pulls it all together. I think at last count there's 450 different types it can actually do. I'm getting a nod from Gavin, that must be right. 450 types of data that we can actually process and use, which is incredibly useful. And we're using this stuff at the back end of what we're doing to power everything that we're achieving. Other cool things you can see on here, Slack, Twitter, all sorts of things that it supports. So you can use it across all systems. And it comes in 3 different packages. So you can have FME Desktop, FME Server, FME Cloud. Part of the stuff that we've generated is that we have, from this sort of picking up of this amazing team, is we're doing a lot of support for the Satellite Applications Catapult and also other companies that are around to help with their data manipulation needs. So let's get back to what we're talking about, which is about insurance. Now, insurance isn't a very glamorous area, but I think it is. I think it's incredibly exciting what we can do and what we can actually derive from all this data. One of the nice sort of sidelines to what we're doing is that everything that we do around the world, so not just in the UK, but globally, is about achieving positive societal change. So imagine being able to process this stuff anywhere you are. So we're in Slough, of all places. So being in Slough and processing data and helping people in Tanzania drink water. We can help with agriculture, so we can actually help understanding illegal logging. We can understand how there was something on the news this morning about Iceland, about palm oil being sustainable. We can help with all these different aspects of different areas by using one piece of software in an office in Slough, which I think is incredible. We can help with roads. So part of the work we're doing with the World Bank in Tanzania is we're generating data that they can then use to understand whether or not the roads are of sufficient quality or not. And also in Tanzania, we're also working on population density. So that's to understand population migration and population change, but also population density in slummed areas. And I can show you some of that stuff. So in Tanzania, we're actually doing a load of work which is around AIMEE version 3, but AIMEE on UAV data as well. So I thought I'd add this in. This is an ortho photo that we've generated from drone data, and also with a DSM that we've created as well. And what our part in this is to ensure the data is being manipulated properly and then extracting those features outside to understand different problems that they might do. So So let's get back to insurance, shall we? So the first thing, residential, understanding the underinsurance of contents insurance. So we're not superhumans, we can't see inside houses, so we decided to give that one a little bit of a miss for the time being. The thing that we focused on is the commercial sales. So it's interesting that 80% of commercial property in the UK is underinsured. That's a great statistic. But that can actually, if you put a number to that from a quantitative point of view, that's £328 billion worth of underinsurance. So not only can an insurance company actually protect themselves by making sure they have the right amount of insurance, they can also inform and educate their customers to ensure that if something does happen, they can actually ensure that they are insured properly. The other benefits, as I mentioned briefly, is to do with the failure to carry out regular valuations or assessments, and also that surveys they're very cost draining, and also the time it takes to do them is horrendous. Let me show you some stuff that we've done. So if we go back to where we were at the start with AIMEE and extracting features, we can extract features and we can extract stuff from satellite data. We can then use those features and those interesting things to actually help understand the rebuild cost from space. How we do that is, instead of reinventing the whole cycle and trying to build it all ourselves, we've tied in, this is an API, you can look at this online. This is with the Building Cost Information Service, which is part of the RICS. And this is a calculation tool that surveyors use themselves. So the key behind this is not reinventing everything, it's just getting the correct data to go into this to enable us to do this over scale. Let me show you what we've done with Allianz. So this is actually going to show you 2 case studies now of what we've actually done and how we extracted features. The interesting parts we've highlighted for you. This is an area in West London, which I showed you at the start. This is one of their places that they currently insure. It would take a surveyor half a day to a day to go out and walk around and do everything they need to do. It would take them a long time. It would take them a huge amount of time and effort with all their bags and survey tools and everything else to go and do this. We can get within 5% of what they thought the floor space was by doing this from space. And this is what we've achieved so far. If we look at another one, which is another property, we're within 25 meters squared of the floor space of what they suggested. And remember, this is unsupervised extraction of features. This is not us going around and doing this manually. This is completely automated. This is AIMEE, Clever AIMEE version 2. So Clever AIMEE version 3 will be able to sort out the little problems. So this is a complete snapshot of the end of proof of concept for Allianz UK. And there's an issue to do with where if you look on the right-hand side, there is an issue to do with how the tile is merged together. And that is what AIMEE 3 is going to be able to sort out. So I think that the future for what we can do with this stuff, and I think the future for what we can do on GBDX and with DigitalGlobe and other data sources is amazing. We can generate not just one area that they need to look at. We can generate thousands and thousands, if not tens, if not hundreds, if not millions of data points that people can use across whole countries to enable us to create a product that can be useful not only for insurance companies, but also for people around the world. And I think that's an amazing point. If you want any extra information from myself, or also from Kumar, he's around, he's at the back there. Kumar obviously he's been here for the last 2 days, and he is there for FME sales and other stuff. If you want to know any more information about AIMEE and myself, my contact details are there, or speak to Dave Benson, I'm sure he'll be able to point us in the right direction. But thank you very much for listening.